I cannot emphasize this enough. It is not Christmas season yet. However, you can still have a nice Rankin Bass special. This one, Mad Monster Party? There's actually a question mark in the thing itself. So, but this was a Rankin Bass special with monsters. I mean, basically the Universal monsters. It's got Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yes, that was considered a part of their monster lineup. Don't think too much about that. But if you have a nostalgia for the, I think, better known and better remembered holiday and Christmas specials that Rankin Bass, particularly the stop motion ones that they produced, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or The Year Without Santa Claus and stuff like that, but you have not ever checked out this, I think you should probably give it a go. I'm going to give it that pretty specific recommendation. This is the kind of thing where you don't necessarily have to have nostalgia for this specific thing, but it would probably help to either have nostalgia for the type of thing that it is or the type of stuff that it's referencing. So I think the people who are going to get the most enjoyment out of this are going to be people who have a particular appreciation and soft spot for the Universal monsters of, I think it was like 30s, 40s sort of time. And or an appreciation of the Rankin Bass stop motion productions for other holidays. I think if you have an appreciation for either or both of those things, you'll probably get some enjoyment out of this. I know I did. I found this to be quite entertaining. And while it's not across the board, some of the stop motion I'd say is the best Rankin Bass ever did. Not all of it. A fair amount of it is about on par with what I'm used to, like Rudolph. But their sort of primary character, Baron Frankenstein, Baron Boris Frankenstein, same because he's voiced by Boris Karloff, he's got surprisingly smooth animation, like smooth by the standards of the day, but definitely versus what I'm used to for Rankin Bass, and even a lot of what else is in this movie. His puppet is way more articulated. The mouth like actually moves properly, and it's not just like an overlay that they kind of put there. It's like, no, the jaw has a hinge. It's like a proper movement. It's actually kind of impressive, and he's like the first one you see. It sets the bar at a height that most of the other characters can't hit, but I still have to shout out the sort of technical aptitude of this, given what I'm used to. For like, I have a soft spot for Rankin Bass. I have more of a soft spot for their 2D stuff, particularly their fantasy 2D stuff. I love their version of The Hobbit. I love The Last Unicorn. I like their version of Return of the King. You can all fight me on that one, but I'm not going to say that one's better than the Peter Jackson. I will say their Hobbit's better than the Peter Jackson, but separate topic. So the plot and the idea is that the Baron Frankenstein, he is like, for lack of a better way to put it, like the grand poobah, the head honcho of all the monsters, and he's gathered everyone to the Isle of Evil. It is just flatly called that, to announce who his successor will be as their leader. And all these monsters are brought there. He has his assistant who's on the island with him, who's just very va-va-voom kind of vixen for, an articulated puppet. And then there's his nephew, and who is the clumsiest human being, adorably innocent, and voiced in a way to sound like Jimmy Stewart. It's not Jimmy Stewart, but it's voiced to sound like that. That's not the only voice impression that goes on. There's also sort of a head zombie who's basically voiced as a Peter Lorre impression. Oddly, nobody did a Bela Lugosi impression for Dracula. I actually couldn't quite nail down what they were doing with Dracula's voice, but I had fun hearing it regardless, because I was just like, huh? if there's one misstep voice-wise, and this is a matter of taste, they have Phyllis Diller voicing the Bride of Frankenstein effectively, and Phyllis Diller's never really worked for me super well, or when she does in very, very light doses. In particular, her tendency to laugh after her own jokes, that can rub me the wrong way anyways, but here especially it just sounds so forced. I don't know if it's because she's reading jokes somebody else wrote so it doesn't flow as well, but didn't super care for it. It doesn't bring the whole thing down because like she appears sporadically, but that's about the only I for my taste kind of misstep on the voice front. Otherwise it's all just fun. Like, again, I have to point to the other holiday specials by Rankin Bass. Is it, a compelling story, deep characters? No, it's corny jokes and semi-primitive stop motion with the rare exceptions where it's a little bit more impressive. And the storytelling is, well, honestly, it's more coherent than Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but like it's just gonna go off and do its own thing. It doesn't follow standard structure. It's a little bit slow paced, but I had fun with this, and I think more people would do well to add it to their Halloween season rotation, because people tend to talk about, oh, what horror movies you watch, what ghost movies you watch. I'm actually fond of Halloween specials, seasonal specials. I always loved the Garfield Halloween special. I actually like the Halloween, the first Halloween episode that the Real Ghostbusters cartoon did. Phenomenal. One of the best episodes of that whole show. And that whole show, when the show wasn't always good, but when it was good, it was great. But like, I love those, and heck, I even actually really liked the Grinch Halloween special that existed that you can't find freaking anywhere anymore and no one seems to remember. But I like all this stuff, and I think this slots in nicely with that kind of material. So if you're anything at all like me, give this one a whirl. It's fun. Mad Monster Party. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? If you haven't seen it, I don't know. What do you think about the concept of Rankin Bass doing a more monster-based Halloween feeling kind of special? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills, enables me to do this as my living. Even if you can't help me out that way, any assistance you give is of great assistance. Yes, of course, any assistance you give is of great assistance. Learn to speak. Say sentences that scan. Parse your words better. Anyways, don't worry too much about it. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so just come on back next time you need a break. That went well. Shout out to the patrons who help make this possible. In particular, I want to thank Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfullah, Goddess Elida, Tarak, the thing that goes doink in the anime, Ruth, Oliver B., Solitary Pictures, Ulrich Bogdan, Melinda Walters, Jen, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Fernabilax the Poodle, Robin Powell, T. Love, Tracy Scrappett, Angry Kasperl, Dave Hall, and Rosalind Bennett. There's being able to hear me try and pronounce your name, plus a whole bunch of other rewards in the Patreon. You can check out the tiers, but if you're already on the list, thank you so much.